Welcome to Enjoying Everyday Life with New York Times bestselling author Joyce Meyer. On today's program, Joyce will be teaching from her series, When God Wins. Waiting. When we find ourselves living in a season of waiting, it can be frustrating. We may struggle to keep our patience and want to try to make things happen on our own. We may even go to God and ask Him, when are you going to answer this prayer? No matter how long the wait, God always has a good plan at the right time. Today, Joyce wants to encourage us that choosing to trust Him in those waiting times will prepare us for when God's answers do come. Now, here's Joyce with the series, When God Wins.
Last night I taught on when God wins. Today I'm going to teach on why God why. Seems like we spend more time winning and whying than we do anything else. I don't understand why that happened. I don't understand, God, why my friend has only been saved 2 weeks and she's already had a great Christian man ask her to go out, and I've been serving you for 30 years and I've never had a date. Come on. Why, God, why? Don't you love me? What's wrong with me? I must be ugly. I need to lose weight. I don't know. Well, I don't know what the problem is. You need to just be saying, if I'm supposed to get married, the right guy will come along at the right time. And in the meantime, I've already got my guy Jesus to walk with and to serve and to love. But boy, we just want to know stuff, don't we? We want to know when things are going to happen, and we want to know why they've happened, the way they've happened. And you know, now my husband is not the least bit nosy. I mean, I can be talking to somebody on the phone about something, or maybe one of my daughters is over and he's in the room, and I say, can you go upstairs for a while? Laura and I need to talk about something. Well, he'll never even ask me, well, what'd you guys need to talk about? Well, I mean, I'd be on him like, flies on honey. Well, what'd you talk about? Why couldn't I be there? Why couldn't I hear it? So I could venture to say that I would tend to be a little bit on the nosy side. And, well, you got to call it what it is before you can change it. And so the other day, my daughter called me, and she was in the car with one of her kids. I'm not sure which one it was, but I think I know. I think I got it figured out. And she started to tell me something, and she said, oh, wait a minute, I forgot I'm not supposed to tell you that. You're not supposed to tell me what? I can't tell you. Well, why can't you tell me? Well, why did you start it? Now, how many of you know how aggravating that would be? I mean, that's like making a really hungry man sit and watch everybody else eat, and all he could do was smell the food. She'd stuck it out in front of me and now wasn't going to tell me. Well, it was kind of interesting because I found myself, I kept trying to figure out, and I wonder who was in the car with her. And then a couple times I thought, oh, I bet it was this, or I bet it was that. It's amazing how we settle down when we think we've got it figured out. And most of the time, we still don't have a clue what's going on. We just think we do. We're satisfied because we think we know, but we really don't know. I remember when God told me a long time ago, Joyce, you're not half as smart as you think you are. You think you got all this stuff figured out, and you're wrong about all of it. None of it's going to work out that way. I wonder how much time you spend rotating your mind around and around and around the same situation until you think you've got it figured out, and then lo and behold, God surprises you, and it's totally different than what you ever thought it was going to be. So we can save ourselves a lot of time. But in the midst of this, me trying to get beyond this, because I determined I was not going to try to talk her into telling me, which was hard enough already. And this thought dropped in my heart. Being nosy is spiritual immaturity. And I have a feeling that I know who dropped the thought in my heart. I don't think it just kind of fell in there out of the sky. I think God put that in my heart. And throughout the day, when I would revert back to thinking I was going to try to figure this thing out, how many of you know what I'm talking about? We just can't stand it if we don't know. And I love what the Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 2. He said, I am determined to know nothing among you but Christ and him crucified. And he said, I'm determined to make a display of the knowledge of nothing. And boy, do we like to tell people what we know. But if we can just know and then tell somebody what we know. Half the time when somebody's talking to us, if we're not careful, we don't even pay one bit of attention to what they're saying because we're already so anxious to tell them what we know. Well, let me tell you what I know about that. I had a friend, her and her husband owned a business, and he was kind of a quiet guy. He didn't, always have a lot to say. And, but he was pretty wealthy, so he must have known something. And I remember one night we were at a party together, and a bunch of people were talking about something that this guy actually knew a lot about, but he never said a word. And afterwards, his wife said to him, why didn't you tell him what you knew? Now listen, he said, I already know what I know. Why do I need to tell them what I know? I was trying to listen to find out what they know. So which is better, to listen and gain knowledge, or to always be trying to tell everybody what we know when half the time we don't even know what we're talking about? You ever ran into one of those people that they can give you advice on absolutely anything? I don't care what it is. Listen, if you want advice on any sport in the whole world, you can see my husband. Because he is a golf coach, baseball coach, football coach. He's into tennis now. He doesn't play, but he's likes that. Now we're getting a soccer team, I think, in St. Louis, so we'll have to do soccer. And hockey, our Blues are maybe going to win the pennant, and so now we're into hockey all week. I'm even getting up in the morning and running and checking the hockey scores, and I don't even care. But I just want to be able to tell Dave when he wakes up who won. Guess what I know? So being nosy is spiritual immaturity. Now, how many of you are nosy? Come on, don't give me one of these things. I want to see some hands. How many of you are nosy? Okay. Well, not everybody has their hand up, and not everybody is, but more of us are than aren't. So while I'm teaching this message today, those of you who are not nosy can just feel sorry for the rest of us who are and pray for us. Now, God doesn't want us stupid. He urges the seeking of knowledge. Proverbs is full of seek knowledge, but he's talking about spiritual knowledge. He's talking about truth and wisdom and things like that are really going to add to our life. He's not talking about just knowing everybody else's business and making sure that there's nothing going on that you're not in the know about. So the Bible tells us that we are not to lean to our own understanding. Proverbs 3:5-8. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and the Amplified Bible says, and mind, and I like that. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and mind, and do not lean to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your path, or direct your path. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. Now watch this. It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones. Wait a minute. If I stop trying to figure things out It's going to promote healing in my life. Well, according to that it is, and you know why? Because all this reasoning and trying to figure everything out causes a bunch of other things that we're going to talk about here in just a little bit, and they all bring stress, and stress brings anxiety, and I definitely believe that just being a worrier and trying to figure things out all the time and trying to make sure you're in the know on everything, I think that that's one of the reasons why we have so much stress today. We've actually got too much knowledge about things that we don't really need to know anything about. I mean, how much, junk do you read on Facebook? I mean, really, who cares what Aunt Tilly had for breakfast? I don't. You know? I mean, some of the stuff that people put on Facebook, I'm like, really? You think somebody cares about that? Yeah. But man, we get so frantic if we get away from that phone for 5 seconds. Oh, my phone, where's my phone? I gotta find my phone. And I know you've been like me, you've run all over the house looking for your phone while you're talking on it. Oh, yeah. You know, I'm getting a little bit older now, and you do some strange things. The other night, I started to go to bed, and I went and got my purse and took it with me. I'm just like, oh, well, I seem to know what I need to know when I get up here, so, we'll leave it at that. But, you know, you get on Facebook, and you read something bad about somebody else. Somebody's gossiping or telling tales, and we don't even know that it's true, and most of the time it's not. And then if we have no spiritual maturity, we'll pass it on to somebody else like it is true. Oh, did you read? And we think anything we see in the news or on Facebook is true. Let me tell you something, if you get on there and read some of the stuff about me, you'd run out of this building so fast that it'd make your head swim. I mean, I'm supposed to have a toilet that costs $10,000 and just all kinds of silly stuff, you know? It's just amazing the lies that people can tell today and get by with it, and there's no repercussion. And that's one of the things that has changed in America that's not good. And let me just tell you, don't believe everything you read, unless it's one of my books. Can you just think just for a minute? I feel like we might be able to get it right now. Can you just think about how much peace you would have if you just stopped trying to figure everything out?
Thanks for listening. Discover how to persevere and have peace in the waiting with today's offer, When God When, teaching series and developing patience. This 3-teaching audio series and e-booklet is available now for a gift of $20 or more in U.S. funds, and we do accept all major credit cards. You can order today's offer from our website at joycemeyer.org and have it available to stream and read anytime in your Joyce Meyer app library. You can also call us toll-free at 1-800-789-0089. Again, the number is 1-800-789-0089.
Get your daily dose of encouragement with the Joyce Meyer Ministries app. Catch up on 7 days of enjoying everyday life episodes. Grow deeper in God's Word with the daily devotional and question of the day. And enjoy all your favorite teachings from Joyce in your digital library. Find all this and more with the Joyce Meyer Ministries app. Search Joyce Meyer in your app store and download it today.
Thanks again for listening to Enjoying Everyday Life. Our mission here at Joyce Meyer Ministries is simple: sharing Christ and loving people. Remember, together we can do more.